What's the meaning of Luke 18:2? The persistent widow. Hey guys, it's John. I had a comment come in just the other day that I wanted to respond to. It says, can you please explain the parable of the unjust judge and the persistent widow in relation to the simple ask and you shall receive, or asking once then believing in faith that is already done? Thank you so much. I'm a new subscriber. Well, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here as a new subscriber. This is actually a really interesting thing because prayer and belief are synonymous in Jeshua's teachings. He believed that prayer and belief was the same thing. So when you believe, he didn't necessarily think in the modality of this is how you pray, even though he says that in the Our Father. He believed that words without thoughts never to heaven go, as Shakespeare would say, that you had to have the faith behind it. In the Bible, it literally says, whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive if you have faith. And so what this parable talks about, the persistent widow who keeps coming back to the judge who's denying her, eventually she wears the judge down. He says, well, I just want her to stop bothering me. And he gives her what she wants, right? It's not the continual prayer that he's talking about. It's the continual faith that it's going to happen. She kept putting her thoughts, words, and deeds into action towards the outcome that she chose to create. She chose to design. She never lost her faith, her belief that she was going to get what she wanted. You know, too many people think of prayer as praying to an external God, and that's not what the way to manifest really is. It really is your belief, what you're putting behind that thought. Now, do you have to choose what you want? Sure. Now, sometimes you can choose just, the feeling of something. I'm choosing to live a fulfilled life surrounded by people I love, right? So that's a feeling, right? But you can also very specifically choose specific outcomes and specific things into your experience. But you have to hold on to the belief until you hold it in your hand. And what this parable talks about, Luke 18:2, is about staying with your faith, staying with your belief. I often say I don't believe in affirmations. Well, the reason I don't believe in affirmation is because the word affirmation means shoring something up. You don't have confidence in. Because if you had confidence in it, why would you need to affirm it? Why would you need to affirm it? I believe in declarations. You declare things into your life, and in other words, you ask meaning declare. I'm receiving this. Whatever you ask in God's name is granted. I am is God's name according to Moses. So I am receiving, and then I just believe, and I believe until it is in my hand, and that doesn't mean that it's going to magically poof. And sometimes it's magically poof within an hour, in my own personal experience. But sometimes it's taken a week, and sometimes it's taken time. But it's a matter of no matter how long it takes, you hold your faith, you hold your belief until the outcome is in your experience. And the interesting thing is, the less extraneous methods and modalities that you put around it and break it down to the simple faith, the faster it will come. Because, she was mad at this judge, this unjust judge, who would not giving her any respect, right? But had she just said, no, doesn't matter what he says, it's going to happen, right? I told the story a while ago of being at an airport, and the flight I was on started canceling seats because they'd overbooked. They started bumping people. And I watched as people were coming up to the counter to talk to the lady behind the counter, and she was really frazzled because everybody was mad. No, you're not bumping me for this flight, blah, blah. They were screaming at her. I got in line. I walked up to her. I got to the line. I said, take a breath. You're doing a fine job. These people are just frustrated. If you need me to bump, I will. I really would like to get on this flight, but if you need me to bump, I will. And then I walked over to where I was, and I turned to my friend and I said, we're getting on this flight. Because I believed we were getting on the flight, but what I was doing was giving her a chance to exhale. And when I said, turned to my friend and said, we're getting on this flight, I sat there, And I just watched. And people came up and yelled and screamed and hollered. And she kept, working. And every so often she'd look over the person's shoulder and she'd see me and she'd exhale. And she keeps on going. And then this one guy comes up and he's really loud, really belligerent, saying nasty things. And she's as he's yelling, she looks over her shoulder again. She leans down, she starts typing. And then as the guy's yelling at her, she points at me, calls me over, hands me my ticket to go on the plane. Right? My persistence was that I am just believing it. I believe it, so I'm getting it. And no matter what anybody else said, no matter who was being unjust, who was being unloving, I was getting my ticket. And that really is the persistence. You just believe it. And having the faith that it's happening no matter how long it takes. So that's the meaning of the parable of Luke 18:2. I hope that makes sense to you. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.